Your pantry does not have to be the dark abyss of the unknown. I am going to show you today how to organize your pantry so you can find anything you need in 30 seconds or less. Ready? Let's go. First thing you need to do is organize your pantry just like a store. So you're going to have different categories of foods and group them all together. Let's take a look at my pantry. Here are some of the categories that you see. Over here, I have gluten-free foods. Then we have shelf-stable milk, because we all know, especially if you have kids, sometimes you run out of milk and you don't want to go to the grocery store. So these are great for when you can't get to the grocery store and you really gotta have that milk. Then we have canned vegetables, fruits, pasta, seasonings, and over here I have anything that I might consider like a sugar or a whole sugar alternative. So I've got molasses, honey, I would have pure maple syrup, things like that over in this category. Moving down to this aisle, we have all the baking goods together. Anything that you're gonna put together like flour or baking soda, baking powder, anything you're gonna use to make baked goods are gonna go in one area. Canned beans, once again, always a really important thing to have on hand. If you have nothing ready for supper, you can use rice and beans and get supper on the table in 30 minutes or less. Tomato products, over here, I put all of the condiments together in one area. And then over here, we have coffees and teas. So that's just a basic idea. Up here, I won't open this, but I have like breakfast cereals, things like that up here. So you can see that I organize it by putting different groups and categories together. So other than that, within the categories, how do I figure out what's in there? Well, there's a couple of different tips I can give you. One is that I do try to put things that are taller at the back. So if they're taller to shorter, then you can really easily see the tall things in the back and the short things in the front. Otherwise, if you put the short things in the back, you're going to wind up losing them in the confusion. You won't realize that they're back there. The other thing that I do is I do try to put the older items toward the front and the newer items toward the back when I buy new merchandise. So if I've just gone to the store, it just takes a couple of minutes to pull these items forward and put the new canned goods behind and then push these back in place. It really doesn't take very long, and it forces you to rotate stock just like they do at the grocery store. So you're using your older things first and then the newer things last. The other thing that you can do that actually is really helpful is to just have a marker on hand when you bring groceries home, and just in any color marker that you can see easily on labels, label with the month and the year. So I know I just bought this in April of 2020, but if it takes you a while to go through things in your pantry, it's actually really nice to realize how long things have been in there. And sometimes it's great just to have a clean out the pantry week where you're going through and finding things, oh my goodness, that's been in there a long time, and go ahead and use those items up during that week. The next thing that you might want to do is consider what to do with bulk buys. If you have a large family at all, or even if you don't have a large family, it does help to buy things in bulk because you really do get the lowest price possible. Now that's not always the case, so I would always encourage you, do the math. Before you push that buy button, do the math and make sure you really are getting the lowest price per ounce that you can. Oftentimes, you do find that if items are on sale, particularly if they're on sale and you have a coupon, then you can get them cheaper per ounce, but things just aren't always on sale that you're going to need. And so oftentimes buying them in bulk really does help drive that price per ounce down to where it's more affordable. If you don't have a large family, look for 1 or 2 or 3 families in your area and say, hey, if I get 25 pounds of beans, do you all want to split it? And then if they will split it with you and you each take a certain number of pounds, then you're still paying that low price per pound. You will see that I buy a lot of things in bulk. And so one of the things that I do is I try to label, let's see if I can get this out here. There we go. I try to create labels for the front of these Rubbermaid containers. These are great because they're the perfect size to fit in my pantry and they're see-through. So I can immediately see how many bulk lentils I have in here. This is actually really, really full at the moment. But then it takes just 5 minutes to create a really nice little label, stick it on the front, use packing tape to secure it, and you're good to go. And it makes it easy too for the kids, if you have children helping you, for them to know where things are located in the bulk food section. The other thing that I do is, once again in this area, put like with like. So I know immediately where to go in this section to find what I need. If you buy something in a very large container, for instance, a couple of times a year, we buy 50 pounds of just popcorn at Sam's, just the raw popcorn kernels. And it will last us probably 8 months. So when we buy that, we divide them up into smaller bags. Let's see if I can grab this here. We divide that popcorn up into smaller freezer bags and then put these bags into the larger container. Now what that does is it helps so that you're not trying to grab 50 pounds of popcorn from somewhere. It makes storage much easier. And if there's ever a problem with like an infestation of bugs, then you can hopefully contain it to one of the bags instead of all the bags. Now, if you're concerned about bugs, and a lot of people are when they're buying bulk items, you need to take those and throw them into the freezer for at least 48 hours. And I mean the deep freeze. So it needs to be 0 or below for 48 hours. And that should kill the bugs and any possible larva that is there. And the truth is, bugs could be in anything you buy from the supermarket. But when you're buying it in bulk, people tend to think of that as a possibility. So that's a great solution for you. Just go ahead, throw it in the deep freeze 48 hours, pull it back out again, and any possible bugs should be taken care of. The final component, the last thing you need, is a way to inventory everything that's in your pantry. I use a pantry inventory sheet. Now, if you like this sheet, these pantry inventory sheets are available exclusively to Under the Median subscribers. In fact, when you subscribe to Under the Median, there's a whole host of forms, free ebooks, checklists that are all available in our subscriber-only media library on the website. So if you're not a subscriber, check out the link in the description of this video and sign up to become a subscriber. Let's take a look at the pantry inventory sheet. The first thing you'll see is that I just completed this current inventory on April 26th, though just a few days ago. I like to have each of the sections that we described in large letters, all in capital letters, with kind of an arrow right through the middle. What that does is it makes it really easy for me to see when I go from one section of the pantry to the next section. You can easily see right down the middle here where the next section starts. Then you're simply going to fill in the item, the size, and then the quantity that you have of that size. What is the yellow highlighted areas? The yellow highlighted areas are fantastic if you have more than one person getting in and out of your pantry to collect food items for you, especially if you have children doing it. So the whole idea of the yellow highlighter is keep this yellow highlighter right near this pantry inventory sheet, and if you are the person who takes the last of any one item off of the pantry shelves, your job is to highlight that whole row with yellow highlighter. What that does is it allows me to come down here, grab my pantry inventory sheets, and immediately see anything highlighted in yellow. I need to replace it. So I need to put that on my weekly grocery list and replace that item the next time that I head to the grocery store. That's the whole system for organizing your pantry and being able to know exactly what you have in your pantry in 30 seconds or less. Moving on, I have some vegetables, canned vegetables, fruits, pasta. Can I start over again?